May profits be upon you. Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast. We're going to take a look at the US dollar, we're going to look at the euro, and we're going to look at the pound. All right. Primarily, we're going to look at the US dollar. Why? Because of the upcoming week. We got NFP, we got PCE, we got a whole bunch of things going on this week. All right. This is a red folder week. This is the last week of the month. So we have to be extra careful as a lot of hedge firms and institutional players will try and uh, partake in some profit taking and some book balancing. You understand? So things can get a little wonky. So you got to be careful. But this is a great time to trade. You might want to be careful the day before NFP because things can go the opposite way, then go the other way, and you don't know which way it's going to go. So you got to be careful. Now, let's take a look at the US dollar, shall we? Well, in the form of the US dollar index, which is a basket of currencies, the heaviest being the euro, but the US dollar is up against this basket of currencies, right? If we go to the week, actually, let's go to the monthly. If we go to the monthly, you can see this big, strong, hardly any wick at the bottom candle here. This is a very bullish candle. And I want you to take note that it tore through a bearish fair value gap. It hasn't closed yet. The candle isn't over, but we only have this week left for it. And I don't see it receding. I don't see this close line, the close uh, level coming back into this fair value gap. I think this fair value gap is done. The fact of the matter is that it went past it. It filled that fair value gap into this coming into this resistance up here. All right. So it's bullish. It's very bullish on the monthly. If we go to the weekly, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish candles in a row, all of them closing well above the high of the previous candle the before it. I don't mean to be redundant. Sorry. Uh, so especially last week, look how high it went and how far it closed above the previous candle. All right. What I'm looking for this week, if we use next candle theory, when we have all these breakaways, all right, these breakaway gaps forming, you see we have a very beautiful bullish fair value gap that if price should come back here would push price higher. That's if it makes it past, if it gets that far, because that low and this candle here are forming two parts of a three-part uh, uh, fair value gap formation, right? If the next candle is a small body like this one, and it does not, and its low doesn't come back to touch or tap this level here of this low, and we're going to create a new bullish fair value gap here for price to then uh, push down into and then come up and go higher. So that's something I want to be careful of. But what I'm looking for, if you're looking at next candle theory, then the previous high, when the candle opens here, previous high will be taken. And if this is going to be taken, then I'm looking at the sweep of this weekly target that we got here, and that is at 104.79. All right, so call it 105 area, but I'm looking for price to hit that as a round number. All right, I'm looking for price to hit that this week. All right, but we still have the daily to take a look at. All right, if we go to the daily, we can see the weekly fair value gap that is forming right now, that has formed already. All right. Can you see price coming all the way back down here? Yeah, price could, but it's not going to happen this week. All right. Maybe in a couple of weeks, but this is pretty far down there now. We have this fair value gap, and I want you to take a nice close look at that. we have this fair value gap that formed between these three candles, right? Price came back into it, and then what? Responded. We reacted bullishly, and we see price pushing up. Okay, we took the low with Friday's candle. We took the low of Thursday's candle, right, and closed very bullishly. Uh, this would give me a higher probability that we're probably going to take out uh, Thursday's high when the new candle opens for Monday. Uh, we're probably going to end up heading towards this high and this high, and I would like to see it. I would like to see the candle close above this high, which would indicate that we're going to come back for this swing high. So it's all bullish. It's all bullish so far. Now, what I want you to watch out for this week, because we have NFP, if price takes this high early before by Wednesday, right, and then starts pulling back. If price starts pulling back, especially if it wants to pull back around this area, or maybe it wants to touch off here, uh, if price does that, uh, this will be for me a setup for longs to come on after the NFP news. All right, this this is a pullback. This pullback will be positioning by market makers to give the institutions better prices, discount prices, so that they can take prices higher. I just want you to keep it in mind, something to watch next week. Now we're going to move on to the euro. All right, the euros, the mirror image, basically of the U.S. dollar index. All right, but there's some differences, some subtle differences, but I think they count. All right, do you see what I see? All right, we have all of this consolidation here. All right, and I don't like to pick out PD arrays inside of these kind of consolidations because they're not respected. You see the bullish fair value gap. I mean the bearish fair value gap here. Price just runs right through it. You see this fair value gap right there. That's the one we had highlighted. The opposite of which is on the U.S. dollar index. And you see how big this one was, right? And price just ran right through it. Look how small it is here. All right, that's a bullish fair value gap. Like I said, it's the opposite, right? But price rammed right through it. What does that usually tell you? All right, I like to see prices go from a ERL to IRL and IRL back to ERL and on and on. Rinse, wash, and repeat. All right, what am I talking about? An range, external range liquidity is at the highs and lows. That's external range. Internal range liquidity are the fair value gaps. All right. If we skip a fair value gap like this one here, and we just ran right through it, run right through it, after taking an external fractal high or swing high, you got to expect that after disrespecting the internal range, we're probably going to another external range, which is the other side of this the other side of this consolidation. What just happened there? All right, so we're range bound, right? But we're coming to the bottom of it. So what is the likelihood of things? What's the most probable, right? What I'm going to look at is this swing low, right, and this one. And why is it purple? I don't know how that happened. All right, but those are the targets that I'm looking at. Those are the targets that I'm looking at. All right, that's on the monthly. All right, we're looking at the monthly. I'm just saying that it's bearish. If we go to the weekly, we can see this breaking structure to the downside. We can see all of the bearish fair value gaps. 1, 2, 3. All right. This is just indicating that price is encouraging and supporting lower prices. All right. And that's one thing. And I want to talk about um, strong lows and weak lows. This is a this is the lowest swing low of this price range, right? This is the lowest swing low. All right. It did not produce a new high. It didn't break the previous high. So it becomes weak, right? Now, when price was heading back towards it, I was saying at that time that, oh yeah, we're probably going to take that low. But it held one, two tests. It held and then produced another swing failed. It did not create a new high. Here we are back for another test. Do I think it's going to do this time around? No, I do not. What I what I believe is higher probability is that these lows get swept. All right, but I'd like to see how those lows are going to be swept. Did I get to this one yet? This one has shown resiliency one, two times, right? It's shown resiliency even though it didn't create a new high. It should be liquidated. And that liquidation is coming, but I don't know when. But right now, these two are vulnerable. All right, and I think that's what's going to happen here. Price is pushing down, and we're pushing towards these lows. There is a reaction area here, a volume imbalance. Okay, where you see the gap up. A lot of times you'll see just what happened here. Price will respect that volume imbalance uh, and react to it. So a few times you might see a reversal, a few times, but most times it just gives a reaction. I think that reaction may be muted. We'll see. I'm looking at the daily right now, and you can see, just like you saw it, the opposite in the US dollar index, um, that price is pushed down. We took this low, that old low, and we created a bearish fair value gap inside of there. All right, it was not. Come on, man. It was not respected at all. All right, with this candle here, bullish, closed way above it, eliminated. Right, that would make you think, like I said in my last um, forecast, that it things are looking quite bullish, and then we get this candle on Friday. It looks like we're going to go down, just like price took out this high, just like the opposite, where I pointed out price took out the low of the previous candle right here, and pushed up higher, closed very bullish. This one is doing the opposite, closing very bearish, took out that high. I think that next week we will hit the low of Thursday, and then come and hit the previous weekly low here. And I think that is going to be our first draw on liquidity. Boom. And we'll see if we come towards these. Oh, this one is redundant. We'll see if we come to that swing low here. It's an important swing low because there's a lot of liquidity below that low, this low, and even more below this low. So a sweep of liquidity on these levels, I think is coming, because I think it's a good draw on liquidity and a legitimate draw. But we have to get past this volume imbalance first. Okay. If price reacts to this and goes higher, then I think the if we take out Friday's high here, then I'm thinking that we're going to what do you call it? Begin the retracement, which is overdue. Look at this long impulsive move here. We haven't had any corrective structure started yet. I think if we take that high out, if we take Euro's high out that was created on Friday, we'll be heading back up for a correction, a retracement. All right, at least to the 50% level. Got it? All right, we're moving on to the pound. Pound's very similar, but not the same. All right. If we go to the monthly, what do we see? You see any bullish fair value gaps here? Bullish fair value gap. Anybody? No, there are no bullish fair value gaps. The price keeps drizzling up here, keeps sliding up here. All right, without creating bullish fair value gaps. All right, that's on the month on the month on the monthly time frame. But what we do notice is that it did take this swing high and then start to pull back. Are we going to pull back into this range? Is that what we're doing? Is this the beginning of a reversal? No, it's just a bearish engulfer into uh, uh, this range, into this range. Doggone it, man! It's not a lot you can glean from this 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 consolidation here. All right, we peaked up. This could be what some people would call a fake out, but it looks like all we did was sweep liquidity, and then we're coming back into the range. For me, that is a bearish notion. If we're coming back into this consolidative range, all right, it's not definitive, but that's what it kind of indicates to me. All right, you can see the range a little better here. All right, you can see how price. I want you to notice this. All right, you see how price pushes up, and I'm going to point them out. Respects the bullish fair value gap here, pushes up, respects the bullish fair value gap here, all right, pushes up from that, respects the bullish fair value gap here, and pushes up. All right, each one of these fair value gaps is respected and it does its job, right? Good. But then we break this structure. We break that structure with a close on a weekly basis. All right, this is a very bearish indication to me. All right. Once we take this high, you expect some kind of pullback. When you take a swing high, you expect a kind of pullback. And here we are. Are we going to ultimately respect the weekly fair value gap here? Is this going to turn around and turn up? Is that what we're going to expect? That would indicate that the US dollar has weakened, all right, and the pound is strengthened. We need catalysts for that. All right, fundamentally, it has to be driven fundamentally for that to happen. That's a big swing. All right, but what we're going to walk away with is that price has broken structure to the downside. Automatically, I'm bearish. Okay, automatically. I don't know what is going on with that. All right, and uh, is price coming back up here to test this bearish fair value gap? No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, I'm not looking for that. What we want to know is, will price reverse from this bullish fair value gap here? Is this a daily fair value gap? No, this one is. All right. And is it strong enough to push price higher? Well, what we notice is that the initial chop here, it tapped once, it went deeper to the mean threshold of the bullish fair value gap, and then gave us this reaction on Thursday. Then Friday, we take that high and push down. All right, so uh, it's not definitive, but it's weak. All right, if I'm going to take a short, I want to take it on the euro, not the pound. All right, if I'm going to go a short, if I'm going to go long on the U.S. dollar versus these two currencies, I'm going to pick the euro before I pick the pound. Got it? What we want to see is if this fair value gap fails or if it holds. If it fails, then you know the U.S. dollar is strong, and we're going to probably hit those highs that are marked on the U.S. dollar. All right, and this will continue down. But if we break this high here, this doggone swing high here. If we break that swing high here, uh, that's going to indicate that prices are, we have a break of structure, a shift in the market, and things are going up. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribes to my channel so that You can get all their notifications. All right. Trade carefully this week, and may profits be upon you.